thanks so much for joining us here today. I wanted to start right off the bat with, how did this virus start? From a lab in Wuhan or a bat? That's the big question out there.
Yeah, that is the big question. It's unlikely that it started in a lab, that it was created in a lab. It's not that easy to create life from scratch in the lab. If only it was that easy, right? That's not the way it worked. We've known that this group of viruses has been around in wildlife populations, especially in Asia, in Southeast Asia, and in China. We've been warned for decades ago that this group of viruses in those populations could explode and could spread into human populations because we keep disturbing this wildlife. We keep eating the wildlife, and it's come to it's true now, right? That's what's happened. So the most likely source is just wildlife, and it's basically gone from animals to humans. Right?
Wow. Okay. I'd also like to know: does all this antibacterial and washing and astringent detergents, etc., affect the good bacteria in our lives? Does it disrupt it?
It does. These disinfectants are general disinfectants, and we have to remember that when we're dealing with viruses, bacteria, fungi, all microbial life, there are good ones, there are bad ones, and there are neutral ones that don't really do much of anything. And they are all affected at the same time. So we try and attack the bad ones, but we also affect the good ones as well. And that's why we have an entire industry of probiotics and so on.
I take them all the time myself, So it's really important that we replenish what we're killing off. We need those good bacteria.
And we also don't really know everything that we're disrupting.
Right.
So those probiotics that we take are just a small subset of what's really there.
And who knows how long it takes for us to balance that after all this time killing off everything, right?
If you counted the number of bacteria in your body, inside your body, there are more bacteria than there are cells of your own body.
Isn't that something? Yeah. That's amazing.
So we are basically bacterial machines.
Wow. Okay, on another issue, do border closures really work? I mean, when we didn't do it when it broke in China right away, like, do they work? Do they not work? What are your thoughts?
This is an exercise in trying to maintain the population of this virus from spreading, really. So when we deal with populations and how to control populations, the easiest way to contain a population, to keep it from growing in number, is to limit immigration into that population. So that's just a well-known fact in population biology. I'm using these terms that might be a little complicated, but it is, and the easiest way to control immigration then, right, within a population would be to use national borders, really, because that's the one thing that countries have control over.
Right.
It's just a useful tool. And the mathematical models that are used to try and figure out how quickly a virus will spread just simply show us that shutting these borders keep the numbers down.
As frustrating as they can be. Oh, I know Mike has another question. Join us.
Yeah, so John, as I'm listening to all of this and we're answering all the questions, well, you're answering the questions, and I appreciate that. Let me throw you a curveball, because today's talk is on a curveball. You're a follower of Jesus, and yet you live in the world of science. You've been vulnerable in admitting that you guys haven't got it all figured out. We're told to trust science. We've heard our Prime Minister say that. I'm trusting in the science. Why do you trust in Jesus?
Well, I trust in Jesus because Jesus is, because I know Jesus has us. I know God has us, and there's a plan for us. And I have full trust in Jesus. Do I have full trust in human beings? No, I don't. Do I trust the scientific community? Not as much as Jesus, but I certainly trust the scientific community. And the only reason I do is because so let's say that there is a really bad person who's a scientist or a really bad person who's a politician. If they were king, we'd be in trouble. But we try not to structure our governments and our scientific enterprises that way. Instead, we have committees and we have groups of people. Well, we will argue and argue and argue.
You can have that pushback.
Right? We have that pushback.
Okay.
And that provides safety, I believe, right?
Okay.
In that.
Well put, well said. John, I want to thank you for being here on the program. Thanks for shedding some light on this difficult subject. I hope you're going to come back very soon, because I know there's a couple of other things that you want to talk about and we need to hear about as well. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you both.
Yes,
thank you
thank
very
you.
much. Yeah.